Here we go then, guys. The start of the GT7 League is about to get underway. And it's lights out, and away we go for 29 laps of the Nurburgring. Tiger Assassins off to a good start on the inside of Bonnie, even as they make their way down in towards turn 1. Topster looming large in the background as all 12 drivers breaking for turn 1. Someone's on the grass. It's a black car. I'm not too sure who's in the black car. I think it's Nathaniel. We'll double check in a minute to see if anyone else has got away uncleanly. But Bonnie Evil back down the inside of Tiger through turn 2, and you've got Cameron Kaboom looming large on the inside of Topster. There's Finn on the inside of Toussaint in the background behind. They're 2 by 2 making their way through the first sector, but it is Bonnie Evil who leads in the Genesis, followed by Tiger Assassin in second place, and Cameron Kaboom with a good start in the Porsche has got up into third place. Looking in the background, Costa on the inside of Toussaint, who's dropped down into 7th place. The Mustang gets ahead of the Mercedes, but Toussaint's going to send one back down the inside into the following right-hander, goes alongside the Swiss driver as they make their way down into the hairpin. I believe it is called the Dunlop hairpin or something like that. But Costa braking late on the outside. Toussaint keeping his Mercedes tight on the inside. Piero trying to follow the Brit through, but couldn't quite make anything of it. And Toussaint gets his way back up into 6th place. Meanwhile, there's a bit of racing action going up in front between Topster and Finn. They're 3 wide with Toussaint on the inside. What's going on here? I don't know where this is all kicked off from, but it's so hard to see what's going on. Finn on the inside of Toussaint might try and send one on the inside of Cameron Kaboom as well. Going in towards turn 1, the Porsche sees him coming on the inside. Topster now going wheel to wheel with Toussaint, and they're 2 by 2 making their way up the hill through turn 2. It's so good. We're even on lap 2, fighting for 3rd place. Nearly had the all sets of 2s. Toussaint now on the inside of Finn makes a little bit of contact with the German, allows the other German, Topster, to slip back through on the inside, becomes the outside for turn 4. And with the old switcheroo, Topster now gets the position back up into 5th place, going wheel to wheel with Finn in the Ford Mustang. The Mercedes trying to go round the outside, Finn leaving him just enough room for the inside of turn 6 or 7. But it is Topster who gets the move done up in towards 5th place. And look at Piero in the McLaren trying to get racy behind the Mustang. She isn't in the lobby. Old Fears, well, no, Cameron Kaboom onto the grass, might have hit the back of Tiger Assassin going in towards turn 1. That unsettled the Porsche going in the braking zone, and Tiger might lose the position to his teammate. The 2 Mercedes going side by side through turn 2. Toussaint running a little bit wide onto the AstroTurf, but they are still door to door, making their way through the first sector of the Nurburgring. And Cameron Kaboom's lost another position to Finn. From the mistake at turn 1, he put a wheel onto the grass, causing the back end to step out, and then that lost all the braking grip, and unfortunately hit the back of Tiger Assassin, and he's gone wide in towards turn 5 onto the grass. Hopefully he can rejoin the track safely. Does indeed so, but he's going wheel to wheel with Pierre, and look at Nathaniel trying to get involved in this battle as well. Topster and Costa going wheel to wheel. It's difficult when 2 drivers have the same livery and they're next to each other on the track. Tiger Assassin gets back up ahead of Toussaint and his teammates into 2nd place, but all this squabbling, they're costing themselves so much time as Nathaniel now finds himself up into 7th place ahead of Piero and Cameron Kaboom. 10 and Wolfie looking racy behind in 10th and 11th respectively. But what action we've had. I said at the start there would be action, and we certainly have got action. Bonnie Evil's picked up a 5/10 penalty somewhere on this lap. That's going to bring Toussaint closer to him. It's Tiger and Finn go wheel to wheel through the Schumacher S's, and the German in the Mustang gets the move done up into 3rd place and on to the podium on lap 5 of 9. And here goes Tiger Assassin now to the inside of Finn, late on the brakes in towards turn 1. Door to door as the Mercedes squeezes out the Mustang. Finn loses the rear on the exit of the corner. Topster trying to go round the outside of Finn. That could be an ambitious move if he can make it stick. Does have a 5/10 penalty which he'll need to serve at the next penalty detection gate sector, responding to the pressure that Toussaint's putting on behind. 2/10, less than 2/10. Now a 10th if they make their way through the final sector. Toussaint late on the brakes, down the inside, in towards the final chicane. Goes a little bit deep, but keeps it within the track limits and takes the lead of the race. Tiger Assassin looking to try and close up the gap to Piero a little bit just so he can find himself in the action, as Pierre's going to look for a move on the inside of Bonnie Evil, down in towards turn number 11. A little bit of contact between the McLaren and the Genesis as they make their way through turn 12. Bonneville with a nice tight inside line, but Piero having gone wide will get a good run up the hill in towards turn 14. Through turn 13 they go now, side by side. Tiger looking hungry in the background, trying to find a room on the right hand side of the circuit. Left hand side of the screen, which will become the outside. Piero swoops around the outside of Bonneville, and Tiger Assassin might try and follow him through on the inside for the second half of the chicane there. Wheel to wheel, door to door, through the final corner. The Mercedes tries to hold it down the inside as the other Mercedes of Topster gets involved in this battle as well. We look to see the battle up front hasn't changed. Costa still leads his teammate Finn in the battle for the lead of the race. Topster gets ahead of Bonneville, slots in between the Mercedes and the Genesis, and might try and look for a move down in towards turn 1. Defending from Bonneville turns into an attack on Tiger Assassin as on lap 16 of 29 he makes his way up in towards 6th place and now puts himself ahead of the 2 cars behind. But these guys might be able to gain a few extra positions as Tiger sets a new personal best through the 3rd sector. There's a slow Cameron to Gavra after serving a 1 second time penalty. Goes through the middle of the track, pulls over to the right hand side of the circuit and Tobbs onto the grass, and he's hit the side of the Porsche. Now was that Cameron Kaboom moving late under while serving his penalty, going at a reduced speed to try and block Topster from going round the outside, or did Topster, or was the gap too small on the right for Topster to go round the outside, forcing him to go onto the grass and hit the side of the Porsche? I'm not too sure. The camera angle wasn't great on that one. I couldn't quite see, so I'm not going to throw the blame or say anything I don't want to say, but thankfully they've got away with no damage. The camera's going to look to go back up the inside of Topster. Bonneville sending one late on the brakes on the inside of Cameron. Kaboom, there's contact between the two. Cameron gets forced wide and off the track and ultimately loses 2 positions. Will Bonneville have to give that position back? It doesn't look like he's going to stand as Cameron Kaboom might try and return the favour and send one back on the inside of the Genesis. Unfortunately, he couldn't quite make anything of it in that move, almost pushing the Japanese car through the 1st sector. Topster kicking up a little bit of gravel as he makes his way through the 1st sector. Cameron Kaboom now going wheel to wheel with the Mercedes as Topster to the inside at turn 7 gets the move done up into 7th place, and Cameron Kaboom loses 2 positions again in the space of a couple of corners, but he's going wheel to wheel with Topster into the hairpin on the inside. Can he secure 7th place and get the move done? Yes, he can. Topster just runs a little bit wide, maybe to cut inside and get a good exit up the hill. Hairpin as Bonneville gets a little bit out of shape on the exit of turn 6. Cameron Kaboom tries sending when he's late on the brakes. He's gone wide, he's on the gravel, and he's gone round. 360 spin for the Brit at turn number 8, down at the hairpin, the behind this battle for 5th place. Now that Cameron Kaboom has made his pit stop, is Bonneville going to try and send one to the inside? He's late on the brakes, and there's a lot of contact between Bonnie and Tiger. It might not seem like a huge amount, but certainly there was a shunt down in turn 1. Bonneville late on the brakes, hits the rear right tyre of Tiger Assassin. It's just about unsettled the Mercedes, although he keeps 5th place in the race for now. He's probably going to want to get ahead of that Mercedes as quickly as possible. He's gaining in the slipstream. He pulls over to the inside. He's late on the brakes and he sends one down the inside. Tiger Assassin's forced to leave the door wide open, but look at the grip that the Genesis has on the inside, but Tiger allows himself to have the inside line going through turn 2, which will lead him into turn 3. There's contact between the two once again as Bonneville gets a tank slapper on the AstroTurf on the exit of turn 2 and hits the rear right of the Tiger's Mercedes with his front left. No damage, thankfully, neither of them in a barrier, but with a good run through turn 4 in towards turn 3. Bonneville has a look at the inside. Tiger leaves the door open, goes defensive for the next right-hander at turn 7. The Mercedes staying ahead of the Genesis, but for how much longer? Bonneville is looking like he wants to get past ASAP. Tiger's ran wide through the hairpin, and Bonneville sees an open door on the inside and he goes for it, gets the move done on the inside up into 5th place, gets a little bit of a wiggle on the rear of the car, and that could be the invite that Bonnie needs to get back up into 5th place. I've got the hiccups now as Bonneville Tiger Assassin running wide onto the gravel. The lack of momentum might force Bon Evil to look for a move on the inside. Nearly makes contact with the Mercedes. He goes a little bit deep into the chicane. There might have actually been contact between the two cars. Bon Evil trying to go for a move down the inside of Tiger in towards the final corner. They're door to door as they go through the long swooping right-hander, which leads them onto the start-finish straight. Now Tiger Assassin's got the run. He's got the momentum. He's in the slipstream of the Genesis in front. Two kind of, well, a white car and a green car, a Mercedes versus a Genesis down towards turn 1. Who's later on the brakes? Bon Evil swoops around the outside of Tiger Assassin. Looks like the Genesis just has more turning, more grip than the Mercedes has for offer. Tiger maybe suffering a little bit from understeer that the Mercedes is naturally has, as Bon Evil runs wide onto the AstroTurf, completely loses control of the car, manages to save it nicely though, but concedes the position to Tiger, and that's the second time in a couple of laps where a mistake, or he's been forced to give the position back. You can just about see Topster approaching the chicane in the background. Tiger getting a little bit loosey-goosey on the exit of the final chicane and leaves the door open for Bon Evil to send one down the inside, makes contact, nearly forces Tiger over the curb, just about keeps it within the track limits. Bon Evil doesn't get the best of exits through the final corner either, but does get ahead and up into 5th place. And has he secured a 5th place finish for now? Is that Genesis working better than the Mercedes on the worn tyres? Toussaint approaches the hairpin for the final time, the 29th time for going through that hairpin, and well, I mean, what can we say about the season 1 champion? What is there to say? He's absolutely mastered the strategy in this race. He hit the nail on the head, and he's played his cards to perfection. It's redemption day essentially for your season 1 GT Sport champion, because if we look back to the race in the season 1 at the Nurburgring, he was leading this race from nearly start to finish until he pitted, thinking he had to use two different tyre compounds, and he lost that race to Duke. He finished in 2nd. It rained in the mini season after he dominated. He was leading that race and he didn't win it after the rain hit on lap 14, but he rounds the final corner for the final time, and your season 1 GT Sports champion kicks things off here in season 1 on GT7 with a win here in the Nurburgring. Toussaint Auto is your winner here at the Nurburgring GP, and Finn comes across the line in a really good 2nd place ahead of his teammate Costa for a 2-3 finish for FGR. But Toussaint kicks off the season exactly how he would have wanted to. It's redemption day for him from the previous 2 races we've had here at the Nurburgring. He finally stands on the top step of the podium and gains 5 positions in the race. A really good race and a good performance from himself.